Okay, so I've had this Grom for maybe like I don't know, 2018. What is it now? 2023. Like, it's been a minute, and I've kind of neglected it. I'm not gonna lie. But the mini motor ride out is coming, and there's a few mods that I've always talked about doing this bike, and I never did them. And today I'm gonna do at least one of them. Well, two of them actually, because I found some of the parts. One is this long LED whip that's gonna be popped up right here because me and my friend keep losing each other every time we go on a ride out, and they should make it a little bit easier to keep track of each other. And two is a Fender Eliminator kit, because goddamn this Fender is ugly. So let's get started. Okay, so here's a Fender Eliminator kit I will be using. It is made by a company called RANSOTO? Bronzolo? I don't know, something. Packaging not the best, but it came with really good instructions, so that's way better. So step one is remove the rear seat. Okay, so this second step is unplug the license plate light and tungsten electrical connector from near the battery. So that's going to be battery here, and if I look towards that way and follow it back, it's going to be this connector right here. This little guy, very deep down in there. So pull this thing apart, take this little shielding off. Yep, and there's 4 wires on it, so that's got to be it. Okay, so there's the connector disconnected. So the next step is to take off these 4 bolts, which are holding on the actual fender section, and it says to put tape on them to prevent losing them in the bike. So they're 12 millimeters. So there's the original rear tail section. Okay, so a good amount of these instructions are just explaining that you have to take the actual tail section apart and transfer over the wiring harness for the license plate light and the turn signals. Now, it's super easy to take this thing apart. All you have to do is take off a bunch of Phillips head screws, right? So Phillips head screw will be there, right? And then there's one more Phillips head screw, which is located towards the top of the fender tail section. Once those Phillips head screws are off, then you want to take off 4 more Phillips head screws here, 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 and here. And that will allow you to take the license plate, or the light section for the license plate light off. But in order to do that, you're going to have to take these zip ties apart and take apart the pigtails for the turn signal lights. And then you can pull this harness out and transfer everything over to the Fender Eliminator kit. It's actually really simple. I like it. Okay, so here we have the license plate assembly, or license plate light assembly, and the rest of the tail light wiring harness for the Fender. So, as you can see right here, if you line these two up, this little reflector section doesn't fit. So what you're going to do is see that those 2 8mm bolts. You have to take that off and take the actual reflector itself off, or the actual tail light assembly itself off, and then transfer the license plate light itself onto the little taillight assembly. Okay, now here you can see the reflector assembly, and me removing the actual license plate light out from there, and gonna fish it right into here. I'm hoping this actually fits, because in reality these holes are quite a bit bigger than these nuts. There, we'll see. So in the actual taillight housing, there's these rubber grommets. You have to push these out of the license plate bracket thing. You're going to be reusing those into here. That's actually how it's going to go. That makes perfect sense, actually. Just like that. These little things right here. And that's what's going to bolt in all those 8 mils. Okay, so now the rubber grommet was transferred over from the actual license plate light. You can now put this guy right on here, and then put these spacers back into this little hole right here, and then place the 2 8mm bolts on it. It's actually really, really simple. It's a really elegantly engineered product. I like it. Okay, I'm going to reinstall the lens actually. I didn't have to take this part off from what I can tell, but that's going to go right back on. It looks almost really stock, and I'm planning on reusing the stock turn signals for now too, since I can't find the ones I bought. But it looks great. I like it. Okay, so I'm now in the process of putting the turn signals in. The OEM Honda turn signals, by the way. So you don't need to use this washer. Instead, you just put it in here, and the hole on the actual Fender Eliminator corresponds to a shanked hole on there. So just slide it in, put the bolts in, and then reconnect the wiring harness. And then I assume the next step is going to be to connect this guy to here. and then pop it back in. It's actually an amazingly simple solution. I like this a lot. Okay, so now once all the OEM parts are on the bike, next step is to route the wires in through here so that it can ease it. Like so, there's the bottom section, and there's a hole right here that you have to get all the wires through, and then you can install it on the bike with the 4 screws. So this is after the Fender Eliminator. I honestly really like the look. It looks really good. And yeah, I know I need to clean my garage. Thanks for giving me a million DMs about it. I like it. It looks pretty clean. Way cleaner than stock.